How's it hanging, dudes and dudettes? My name is Shawn, and I love building stuff and things in Cities Skylines. Grab a whiskey or a water and buckle up.
Put y'all seatbelts on.
Because this video is a whopper with cheese. The end will be crazy.
Go crazy!
Kind of nutty, super wild.
Go stupid!
And there is timestamps because this intro needs to be a bit longer today to fully explain what we are doing. If you find you already know something you see, then feel free to skip ahead. But first, hear me out before you rage quit the video. You know what I'm saying? You see, what's about to take place needs a full disclaimer. So I know that the title of the video is making OG Cities Skylines 1 look like Cities Skylines 2. And as you probably guessed, there are huge problems to tackle first to accomplish this engineering feat. And alright, stop. I can hear you Skyline Redditors angrily typing away. And you can stop right now because I'm fully aware that this seems impossible for a multitude of reasons. It's not lost on me. It can't be like a one-to-one creation. Another glaring issue being that the game hasn't even come out yet, so how could we know what the new game looks like, and to even then attempt to make OG Cities resemble anything close to this sequel based on nothing, right? On top of that, the source trailer does not actually include any actual gameplay, but rather hints at new features and suggestions of an overall increased level of quality. So yeah, there are limitations. Our work is cut out for us, sure, for sure. But it is possible, dudes. I promise you.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Okay, I know, but hear me out. What if I told you that you could get freaking 4K style of closer than you ever thought of? You know, what if this could be this?
But I'm not done yet!
And what if I also told you that after this guide, you will have the tools of a specific set of mods and a halfway juiced up gaming rig? Maybe if you're lucky, you could right now hop into the game and make Cities Skylines 1 look like Cities Skylines 2, complete with seasons changing, and at least get it as close as possible based on the source material we have right now, right?
But wait! There's more!
And what if I told you someone has already done just that and has been for months already, before the trailer was even announced? I doubt they are even aware of or claim the incredible feat they accidentally accomplished, and it is an overwhelming build, and I'll show you how they did it. In this video, I will show you how each step works. I'm providing this video as a guide on how you can make something epic as well. There's nothing here that's too hard or super secret. With time, we can all achieve the level of the creator we will reveal at the end. Well, not all of us. I guess there are those poor console Andes, right? Seriously, every link you need will be provided in the description or pinned comment. Stick around to see what the creator pulls off at the end. It's an unthinkable result towards the end of the video, I promise you that. It would take ages to replicate this myself, what this person did, and I doubt my poor PC could even handle a fraction of what this crazy city build requires. But then again, maybe your rig can. I don't know. Some of these builders must have like quantum computers or something, I swear. I don't know. I drop frames just loading in sometimes. I'd love, though, to see someone attempt it, so stay till the end if you think you're skilled enough to throw your hat into the ring using what we learned today. You could skip ahead, but then you would never know how it was most likely accomplished, at least in part, right? There is no substitute for that kind of man hours, let me tell you, but it's possible. People who are familiar with the mods featured can skip ahead whenever they, you're just tired of hearing about the mods they already know about, right? But it's worth the watch because there is so much more to this, and if you do learn something new or get inspired in any way, then make sure you like and subscribe and bell to notify yourself, because this is the top channel for Cities Skylines 2 news and speculation content before the launch, and of course we will be knee deep in insane builds after the launch. Also, being notified helps you to be the first to get the Cities Skylines 2 news directly to you. Okay, I know. Shut up, Shawn, and finish this long intro. I get it. Anyway, moving on. Okay, so where should we start? Well, let's manage our expectations first and foremost. Now, we know it's impossible to make a one-to-one creation of the game. No one in public has access to of the public game as of this recording, right? So, how do I know what to shoot for? Well, good question, young Padawan.
you say, young Padawan?
Well, firstly, we can take liberties from the trailer itself. With almost 7 to 8 years of potential development time and an epic next-level non-gameplay launch trailer of top-notch quality, which one can only safely assume is to showcase their promise of stepping up the graphic quality. So it's apparent that they are shooting for a more realistic city. Looks like that's our goal number one. Make the game just look beautiful before we even build. The next goal would be to single out key features like seasonal changes, highly detailed streets, and realistic road layouts. The last goal would be acquiring hyper-realistic looking assets and project builds, right? Alright, so we have our goals. Let's do it. Beautification time, babies. There is a series of mods, themes, LODs, which stand for level of detail scaling for those who don't know, and LUTs, which stands for a lookup table. It's a map of colors which allow applying color correction and adjustments to the image. This can significantly increase the visual appeal of Cities Skylines 1. Due to the update, it's hard to know which mods and themes still work. I had tried to make a Steam Workshop list and compile it all in one link, but it was taking quite a while to sort through which mods and assets worked with what theme, because I am still sort of a novice with LODs and LUTs and the ambient micro details, and generally my playstyle is just like a slightly modded vanilla style. So amidst my search for a shortcut, I came across a YouTuber who had already perfectly explained the tools needed. He has made a quick tutorial on how to implement everything you need to get started. I used this how-to myself. Some themes and LUTs can be added, taken away, or adjusted to your liking, but the basics you need are essentially these. Render It Mod by Kielu, I'm going to butcher some of these names. Relight by Ronnie X69, Daylight Classic, and a Cube Map Replacer by the beloved Bloody Penguin, AD Cloud Replacer by Ninu, Ultimate Level of Detail by Beauformer, and the following short clip features an explanation and overview of how all these work together. So special thanks for this special, excellent breakdown courtesy of Gaseous Stranger.
Hello. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to achieve ultra-realistic graphics and visuals in Cities Skylines. Let's say you just loaded up Cities Skylines, but your game looks like this, or this. No need to worry. Let's take a look at the graphics settings in-game. In the graphics settings, you'll want to make sure that your quality settings are all set to the highest settings possible. If your PC is capable, also set your shadow distance to very far. Lastly, you want to make sure that you disable anti-aliasing. We'll come back to that later and replace it with a mod. The first and most important mod you will need is called Render It. This mod allows for you to adjust the lighting and texture settings in-game. This mod also includes some post-processing effects into the game like ambient occlusion, and is also where you will re-enable anti-aliasing. In the top left, I'm showing off the current settings that I use. Feel free to pause or go back at any time if you'd like to replicate these settings, but also feel free to adjust these as necessary to suit your individual need. The goal is to have your city looking bright, clear, and crisp. You'll also notice in the texture settings, I set each type of texture to a filtering level of 8. I find this to strike a good balance in between good performance and nice visuals. Everyone's PC is different, however, so if you find that your performance is not doing well with these settings, feel free to lower them a bit. The second mod that I recommend is called Relight, and this mod really allows you to fine-tune the color and lighting of your city. Again, these are the settings that I use, but feel free to slightly adjust these. If you have a warmer climate build, for example, you may want to increase the color temperature. Theme Mixer 2 is the next important mod you will need. This mod allows for more flexibility over your theme textures, but also affects your visual settings and LUT. In the Atmosphere menu, you can see how I have my sliders placed to adjust the exposure, as well as the latitude and longitude of my city. This mod is also where you will select your LUT. I'm a big fan of the Relight 2 LUTs, especially Relight 2 Natural and Relight 2 Neutral. Don't want to have the ugly orange glow that comes with a vanilla game? You'll need the mod Daylight Classic, an absolute must-have mod in my opinion. Turn everything off in the mod settings for best results. After that, you'll want to have some control over the fog in your city. The best mod for this is the aptly named Fog Controller mod. Here are the settings that I use, but feel free to adjust them as you like. Now, let's talk about clouds. Cube Map Replacer is a great mod to improve your atmosphere in-game, also known as your skybox. This allows you to import images into your game that simulate realistic skies. There's a few options that I like to use, but I really enjoy the Cedar Bridge skybox for a stunning overcast look. AD Cloud Replacer is another mod that just came out recently that can improve your atmosphere. This mod brings realistic moving clouds into your cities, but it can be difficult to find the right settings. I recommend these as a good starting point to make the clouds look more realistic. All of these mods together may affect your performance some. To offset this, I recommend using the mod Play It. While it's not a visual mod, Play It allows you to slow down your simulation speed and gain back some additional FPS, allowing you to push your visuals just a bit further. I usually set mine between 15 and 30%, but for a realistic real-time simulation speed, use 35%. Now that your city looks good, you'll want to see it in detail too. This game uses a technique called LODs, or Level of Detail Scaling, to help render the game with a balance between performance and visuals. The vanilla game enables these LOD models too early, giving the game a blurry and sometimes broken look. Increase your LODs using the mod Ultimate Level of Detail. Here are the settings that I use to have a good balance between nice visuals and without killing my FPS. If you have a less powerful graphics card or a mid-tier PC, you may want to adjust these values to be a bit lower. You can also toggle these settings on and off using the included hotkey command. It's a really great tool to use for better screenshots. Another mod to increase visual fidelity in-game is Dynamic Resolution. I have mine set to 400% to increase the native resolution of the game and to create better visuals. But again, if your PC is not as capable, you may want to consider setting this value to 200%. Finally, to capture your new realistic visuals and graphics, you're going to want a good camera mod as well, and that's where Acme comes into play. I use these settings as they seem to work the best to reduce the awful flickering effect that you sometimes see. Use this mod along with Cinematic Camera Extended to create stunning cinematics using the built-in camera pathing tool. Using all of these tools together, you can now ditch the vanilla look of the game and create hyper-realistic cities too.
Alright, so that clip is a must-have in every builder's tool belt. If you want to see more content from Gaseous Stranger, then head over and let your tiny shout out be heard, and I guess it's our tiny shout out, right? And maybe drop a sub from our tiny YouTube corner and tell them Shawn Builds sent you. All two of you, right? So, okay, so our map looks beautiful, right? Wrong. You just have the beauty mod. You don't have the map yet, but we can fix that. Yes, allow me to show you the perfect map for this project. San Marino by Maverick. This map is the best for what we are trying to accomplish here. San Marino is a nearly zero ocean, fully landlocked map and is everything you will need. Your PC will also hate it because it has over 100 items you will need to subscribe to in the Steam Workshop, but it's perfect because you want to stay away from coastal island and winter maps, and you're going to need a computer to run this thing anyway, right? So that's not really that big of an issue. And also, you stay away from coastal island and winter maps because winter maps aren't really made to look good in summer, and coastal or island maps aren't a realistic place for snow to fall because yes, we have to manually add our own seasonal changes, right? I'm sure there are other compatible maps, but San Marino will pair best with and maintain the realistic look of the LUTs and the LED beautification overhaul we just completed. BonBonB reviewed this map a while back, and I'll link that as well, but essentially this is what you need to know. You may want to replace the highway system for larger capacity and find detailed roads, add the basic road safety lines, and use the Move It tool to make each road or track perfect, right? This map sort of lacks ship transport, but that is a sacrifice for realism that we will just have to make. Remember, beaches don't usually have snow unless your city is into that kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? Dynamic Seasons was the largest, most impressive, and most obvious reveal from the trailer after all. Plus, we can't make Cities Skylines 2 without the key integral part. And if you can remember, we have already discovered the ability to add seasons in Cities 1 in a previous video. You can check it out if you want. Again, that'll also be linked. Featured in the video, My Bloody Penguin was Environment Changer, which allowed you to change from summer to winter with a menu and would save the file as such, so when you log back in you can enjoy the snow and what you had set up. It's supposed to even work without the snowfall DLC. The mod has since had some issues with the recent updates to the game, but with only a small mod and DLC list, you shouldn't have any effects and not too many problems that should, counteract with it, except for the snow may load back in once you log back in, so you must manually add it each time. It's kind of annoying. The mod won't load snow onto some buildings pre-update for some reason. What I've seen, I'm not sure why. It might just be a me thing or some sort of mod I don't know that I have, right? So if this mod does not work for you, then try Environment Color Changer or Theme Editor Maps by TBP, which adapts Bloody Penguin's Environment Changer user interface to add a drop down to new theme panels and load theme panels and different little things that lets you select which map to use in the theme editor. You can only pick a map to use when loading the theme editor from the main menu. Once inside the editor, the drop downs are gone, so you want to change the map again, you must exit to the main menu and load the editor again. Now we have a beautiful looking map that can change seasons, albeit manually. So here is BonBonB with a quick tutorial.
And welcome to BonBonB Snow Without DLC tutorial. I'm BonBonB and you are very, very welcome. So have you ever wanted to Christmasify your current city, but you don't own Snowfall DLC? Well, worry not. In today's tutorial, I'll talk you through it step by step. And you'll soon have a winter wonderland. Better still, you can change it back at any time. If you're playing on console, sorry, but this will not work for you, but perhaps Santa will be very nice and bring you a nice gaming laptop. We can only hope you've been very good this year. Well, before we get started, you'll be needing 3 things off of the workshop. The links will be in the description below. Don't worry if you've never installed or used a mod before. I absolutely promise you this will not break your city. But if you are concerned, why not simply make a new save game before you get started? Okay, over on the workshop you'll need Environment Changer plus Improved Theme Selection by Bloody Penguin. You'll also want more Beautification, also by Bloody Penguin. Finally, you'll need an appropriate theme. We'll be using Alps Dolomites by Mr. Miyagi, but any theme designed to be used for visual snow will be fine. Once you've subscribed, load up Cities Skylines and head into the Content Manager and make sure the 3 new items are active. Great. Now let's load your city. At the load screen you can now change the theme. Use the scroll menu to select Alps Dolomites, then press load. If the custom theme warning pops up, ignore it and continue. Hello city, let's paint some snow. Find somewhere you'd like the snow to be. Up here on the mountains is perfect. Now at the bottom you'll see an icon that says Ground Resources when you hover over it. Click that and in the new window select Oil, which should be the middle icon. Choose your brush size and paint. Now admittedly this is not real snow, it is oil resources, but it looks like snow, and without the DLC this is the best you can do. Okay, the mountains are now painted, well why not cover the entire map with snow? So that's it. And if you don't like the snow anymore, simply unpaint it using the right mouse button, or load your old save game.
Alright, link to BonBon's channel will be, of course, in the description or the pinned comment, just like everything else. There's going to be a lot of links, guys. So if anybody wants to create this, feel free to do it. Anyway, step 2 is complete. The last thing needed is the detail. Cities Skylines 2 has held itself as being the most realistic city builder to date. That is a task, my dudes. We all know that feeling you get when a neighborhood or district is laid out and buildings plopped or start popping up when you have you have to micro detail it all, right? You're just looking at this like, oh, this is going to take forever. It's a daunting feeling. If you have never wanted to go that far before, then I'm sorry to say, don't waste your time with all this stuff. All the beautification things, it'll mean nothing if your city looks like a bunch of cheap tabletop miniatures, right? This is a pain we must all share, sadly, as there are no shortcuts except maybe the prop line tool. Most of this detail will be prop and asset placement while you build your city, and that is something you'll have to tackle yourself, right? Here are some hints that most people forget that really goes a long way for city building realism. For example, make sure you build full water treatment plants and plan power plants on huge land plots. Add highly detailed markets, a downtown nexus, maybe even a hospital mega complex. Basically, any detail you see in your real life city that is represented as like a single structure in the game, or just anything you see in your city that seems scaled down inside the game, right? Whether that be fire stations or just parking lot, wherever you got going on. The more detail you add, the more micro detail you add, the better your city will look, especially with the beautification mods. When you zoom in, you should feel like you have a lived-in city. The Steam Workshop is littered with items no longer supported or that doesn't work for whatever reason. Roads, props, and anarchy mods to place everything will just be trial and error. I'll include a tutorial on detailing with props, and that won't add to your prop limit, which is essential for your complete build. It'll help the computer anyway. As far as what props to use, well, who knows what works and what doesn't anymore. Hell, even the 5-star most downloaded searches are hit and miss these days. So now you know what it takes to bring your Cities Skylines 1 city into the next generation as close to resembling what Cities Skylines 2 could possibly look sort of like. At the very least, this is the best way to make your current game as advanced and realistic as possible. Now, the moment you have been waiting for. I'm about to show you all this work, what you could do for your city. This can work. This build is epic, and with the environment changer, the sky's the limit. And without further ado, I present to you the most realistic fictional Cities Skylines 1 version of a Cities Skylines 2 build of the city of Athalassya, created with love by Atys. I'm so sorry if I said that wrong. that build was insane. Of course, the creator isn't claiming it's, you know, Cities 2 level, but when the game comes out, you know, maybe we'll try to see what kind of mods people come out with and see how close we can really get and have a real good comparison. But I'm here to claim that for him and go on record to say it's the closest damn thing we'll ever get to Cities Skylines 2 map before launch. That build was epic. It even came with its own story and world lore. I had a hard time believing, you know, it was even made within OG Cities Skylines. The time and effort and power of this creator's PC is like unmatched. Like, he's got to be having that quantum computer, right? This creator is still building on this city, and the lore behind it is unmatched. This guy has done stuff I thought was actually impossible. Of course, a link will be provided. I know we are small here, but we should still support epic stuff like this from underrated creators. Let me know if any of you make, you know, a next level map like this, and we will showcase it here on the channel. That build was nutty. This was my first like live scheduled premiere as well. If you are people who wait and watch, and maybe I'll start scheduling these longer videos ahead of time again as a thank you for, you know, any of you deciding to click the bell and get notified. Being notified helps you to be the first to get Cities Skylines 2 news direct to you. I hope you learned something, because this video took forever to make. If you made it this far, please let me know in the comments, and if you're inspired or learned something new, then drop a like, sub, and bell for daily videos. And until next time, piss off.
2 to the 1, from the 1 to the 3. I like good pussy and I like good trees. Smoke so much weed you wouldn't believe, and I get more ass than a toilet seat. 3 to the 1, from the 1 to the 3. I met a bad bitch last night in the D. Let me tell you how I made her leave with me. Conversation and Hennessy. I've been to the motherfucking mountaintop. Heard motherfuckers talk, seen them drop.